Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Caroline, I'm a UK Physics University lecturer, and today I'm going to tackle 3 hidden realities about being a university lecturer. So I'm aware last Monday I put out a very positive video about 3 cool parts of my job, and I think on balance it's always good to show the cool parts of your job and maybe the not so cool parts, or the things that you have to do that we possibly don't tend to discuss. So that's what this video is, 3 things that form part of my job but I guess I don't tend to talk about that much. And I'm going to dive straight in with the first hidden reality. So the first part of my job that I don't think I've ever discussed on YouTube before is academic misconduct panels. So I'm not opening here with the cheeriest of topics. Essentially, universities have to have processes in place to make sure that students are following the regulations and the work is the student's own work, and basically that the grade the student gets at the end of their university journey is true reflection on what the students actually completed for their course. And so an academic misconduct panel, it comes into action if a student is maybe considered or thought to have perhaps conducted either plagiarism or collusion or cheating or falsification. So I mean, these are not cheery terms, and I'm smiling, but they're not cheery topic terms. So collusion is where students may have worked together on something where they're not meant to have done. Falsification is where you created data and you're not meant to have created data, so it's kind of a false data set that maybe you're working with. Plagiarism is essentially where you're copying the work that's not your work to be able to copy, so maybe you haven't referenced things properly and you've just taken great chunks from somebody else's work. So yeah, these are things obviously that have to be regulated at a university. Now, if a student has a concern against them, so if somebody thinks, okay, there might be a concern here that a student has conducted some form of collusion, falsification, plagiarism, that's when this university misconduct kind of process will kick in. And so universities these days, there's all sorts of bits of software and checkers that can scan students' work to make sure that the work is coming in is original and their own work. So as I said, if it gets flagged that maybe there's a cause for concern, every university will have its process about what happens next. As a lecturer, you might find yourself being involved in this. So if one of the courses that you teach, if there is a potential concern of academic misconduct on that course, as the course tutor, you may be involved in one of these panels. As a personal tutor to one of the students progressing through their university levels, again, if that's a particular student that's had a concern raised that there may be an academic misconduct case, again, you may be involved in one of these panels. And actually, the panels have academic members of staff on them who are trained in the academic misconduct process, and they are there to oversee the whole process and make sure that everything is conducted smoothly and fairly. But yeah, academic misconduct panels are a part of being a lecturer. They are a part of the university system. They are there, I guess, to ensure integrity and to make sure good process and everything's fair for students going through the university process. But as I said, it's not part of my job that I've ever spoken about before. But yeah, academic misconduct panels are a part of a lecturer's job. Thankfully, not too often. Okay, the second part that's kind of a hidden reality, I guess, of my job is writing references. I write a lot of references for other people. So this can be, again, for my personal tutees, and I might be writing a reference for them to get a summer job, or maybe to work, on a placement, or it could be basically to say that they are who they say they are for a rental contract for where they're living, or it could be for some kind of relaxed Christmas work that they need to pick up, or it could be for their onward career, PhD, graduate scheme, any number of reasons I might find myself writing a reference. I might end up writing a reference for students actually that aren't my personal tutees, but maybe they've been involved in an activity that I've organised and I've had insight in seeing them operate and work, so I'm a good person to write them a reference. Maybe they did a final year project with me, so final year bachelor's students, master's students, summer dissertations, obviously my PhD students. There's actually quite a large number of students that may come to you to ask for a reference. And so writing references is definitely a hidden reality of being a lecturer. I tend to find there's some times in the year where it peaks. So obviously when people are looking for summer employment, I can often get quite a few requests then. When courses are ending and people are looking for their next career stage, be that a job or doing another kind of employment step, again, I can find that I get asked for references. So yes, I spend a fair amount of time writing my references. And obviously I have to handle them with data protection in mind, so you can only keep a reference for so long. There are things that I can talk about in a reference. Obviously there's some things that have to come through the university. So yeah, all sorts of rules and regulations with writing references. I actually find it a really rewarding part of the job. It's really nice when somebody asks you to write a reference and you're able to support that person and you can write them a reference, and then it's lovely when they then send you a kind of a email later on and say they got the job or they got the bit of work they were going for. So yeah, writing references is definitely a hidden reality about being a university lecturer. And I guess my third hidden reality about being a uni lecturer is actually I spend a fair amount of time reviewing and reading and commenting on the work of others. But not the students. I do spend a lot of time looking at my students' work and reading and reviewing it, but I guess the hidden part of it is I spend time reviewing journal publications by other authors. So when you submit your journal application, your journal paper in, and you want a journal to publish your work, there's actually going to be sent out to other academics to review. So the editor of the journal will send on your piece of proposed work, your proposed paper for their journal, and other academics will review it. And this is not a paid part of my job. This is just something that we do within the academic community to ensure that papers get good peer review and to ensure that when we publish something, we think we've put it through some fairly rigorous checks before it goes out into publication. And so yeah, I will spend time reviewing the work of others for other journal papers. I'll make comments on whether I think, it's a piece of work that's very scientifically sound, whether I think there might be challenges to that piece of work, whether I think the author maybe have missed out something or they've missed out a key reference to another study that possibly should have been included in their work. And then all of that will get fed into the editor, who will then use those kind of recommendations and suggestions from us as to whether that paper gets published or not. And sometimes it can be frustrating because you might be asked to review journal papers when you're super busy. So sometimes it comes in and you've got so many other things to do. And as I said, it's not a paid part of the job. It's just something we do within the academic community. But I always want my pieces of work to be published and to be reviewed fairly. So if I can, I will always try to do the job for the editor. Sometimes I will turn it down. Sometimes if the scheduling is just too busy and I can't do that paper justice, I will apologise to the editor and I won't review it. Sometimes there might be a conflict of interest if I, know the person too well, or I'm actually connected with that area of study too closely. Sometimes that means, again, I can't review them for that particular journal. But more often than not, you accept it, and I will be reviewing papers of other people. I didn't want to call this video 3 negative things, but they are definitely parts of my job that take up time and that maybe aren't the coolest parts of my job. Finding out some new exciting scientific discovery, writing it up myself and getting it published, that's a pretty cool part of my job. Getting to explain a concept to a group of students and them getting really enthusiastic about it, that's a cool part of my job. Going to a misconduct panel isn't a cool part of my job, but it is a necessary part of my job. Anyway, I've probably talked for far too long there about 3 kind of hidden parts about being a university lecturer. I'd love to know your thoughts if you're working in academia. What parts of your job do you have to do that maybe you don't talk about that much, or things that you have to do but maybe aren't the top of your priority list of things to enjoy doing as part of your work? But yeah, let me know. As I said, I'm going to stick with Thursdays being the kind of more vlog-based video. So if you want to know what's going on about the university, this horrible pandemic situation, how we're reacting to COVID, what we're doing to keep everybody safe, please tune in on the Thursday video. It's just a reflection of what's happening in that particular academic week. But these Monday videos, I'm going to try to make them focused on a particular topic. And I think looking at the comments and some of the lovely comments that have come in, I think next Monday maybe we'll have a look actually at the academic kind of career steps and actually what are the challenges to getting employed at each step. You know, is it difficult to become a lecturer? Is it difficult to become a postdoc? So that might be next Monday's video, but have a great few days. Thanks so much for watching these videos. As always, do like and subscribe, leave me a comment. It's really lovely to have your comments. Look after yourselves, you know, take care, do everything you need to wherever you are in the world to keep yourself as safe as you possibly can. And I hope to see you on Thursday. Have a good few days. Bye.